The sky over the city had been warning everyone all morning. Dark clouds rolled in like curtains being drawn across a theater stage, slow, deliberate, magnificent in their darkness. By noon, the wind had begun to speak in low, urgent whispers through the alleyways. Street vendors hurried to pack their stalls. Mothers called their children indoors. Dogs curled beneath staircases, sensing what was coming. But Marcus didn't notice any of it. He was already late. Late for a meeting that could change his career. Late for a life that felt like it was constantly slipping just a few seconds ahead of his grasp. His Italian leather shoes clicked against the wet pavement with a precision that matched the ticking inside his chest. Briefcase in one hand, coffee in the other. Earpiece humming with the voice of his assistant, rattling off reminders he was no longer really hearing. He was a man in a hurry. A man with places to be. A man who had learned, somewhere between childhood and corner offices, that stopping was a luxury the ambitious couldn't afford. Then the storm broke open. It wasn't a polite drizzle. It was the kind of rain that arrives like a declaration, sudden, loud, and completely indifferent to human plans. Within seconds, the boulevard transformed into a river of umbrellas and splashing shoes and startled laughter. Thunder rolled across the sky like something ancient clearing its throat. Marcus ducked under the awning of a shuttered flower shop, cursing softly, watching his carefully structured afternoon dissolve in the downpour. He pulled out his phone to reschedule, to reroute, to fix the situation because that was what he did. He fixed things. That's when he heard it. Beneath the percussion of the rain, beneath the rumble of passing cars and the distant thunder, a sound so small it should have been impossible to notice. A tiny, desperate, trembling sound. He lowered his phone. There, in the gutter at the edge of the pavement, half submerged in rushing rainwater, was a bird. A sparrow. Small as a closed fist, brown and golden and utterly, heartbreakingly fragile. One wing was bent at the kind of angle that told a story without words, a story of a fall. Of the storm catching it mid-flight, of a creature that had fought and lost and was now losing again. Rapidly to the cold river forming around it. Its tiny chest heaved. Its eyes blinked dark, bright, terrified, and still impossibly full of something that looked, in that impossible moment, like trust. Marcus stared. And then, without thinking, without calculating, without consulting his schedule or his pride or the state of his dry-cleaned trousers, he moved. He set down his briefcase. He set down his coffee. He crouched in the rain beside that gutter, not caring that his suit jacket was now soaked through. Not caring that his phone was buzzing furiously in his pocket. Not caring about anything at all except the inch-binch effort of getting his hands beneath that broken, shivering thing without frightening it further. The sparrow flinched. Tried to move. Couldn't. "Hey," Marcus heard himself say, softly, in a voice he hadn't used in years, a voice that belonged to the boy he used to be, before the world taught him to speak only in boardroom tones. "Hey, I've got you." It took 4 gentle attempts. 4 times the bird fluttered in alarm. 4 times Marcus waited, patient as the rain was not, until finally, the sparrow stilled and Marcus's cupped hands closed around it like a shelter. He felt its heartbeat against his palms, rapid, fierce. Refusing, he stood slowly, sheltering the bird against his chest beneath his jacket, and looked around. Across the street, the golden, warm light of a veterinary clinic glowed through the storm like a lighthouse. He hadn't noticed it before. In all his years walking this street, in all his hurries and urgencies and important directions, he had never once noticed it. He ran. The woman behind the clinic counter looked up as a soaking wet man in a $3,000 suit burst through the door, cradling something in his hands with the kind of tender desperation usually reserved for things infinitely more conventionally precious. "It fell," Marcus said simply, opening his hands. "In the storm." It's Wing the woman, Dr. Amara, whose name he would later learn, whose laugh he would later love, was already moving. Gloves on, gentle hands. Professional eyes sweeping over the small creature with practiced care. "You found it in time," she said quietly. Another few minutes in that water, she didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. Marcus sat in the waiting room for 47 minutes. He missed his meeting. He missed 3 calls from his assistant and 1 from a number listed simply as boss. He sat in a plastic chair with wet shoes and ruined cuffs. And he felt, for reasons he couldn't yet articulate, more settled than he had in months. When Dr. Amara emerged, she was smiling. "The wing is fractured, not broken through," she said. "With a few weeks of care, she'll fly again. She'll fly again." Marcus exhaled a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding for 47 minutes. Maybe longer. Maybe years. That evening, he walked home in the aftermath of the storm. The streets gleaming and clean, the sky now washed to a deep, luminous violet. He thought about the sparrow. About how something so small could stop a life so large. About how the universe, with its storms and its gutters and its unexpected creatures, has a peculiar genius for placing exactly the right thing in exactly the right path at exactly the right moment. He thought about how he had been moving so fast, always moving so fast, that he had nearly walked past it. Nearly weeks later. Marcus returned to the clinic. He told himself it was just to check on the bird. But perhaps it was also to check on himself. Dr. Amara led him to a small aviary room behind the clinic, warm and light-filled and smelling of cedar and something gentle. And there, on a low perch near the window, sat the sparrow. Feathers bright, eyes alert, both wings folded perfectly at her sides. As if sensing him, she turned, looked directly at him with those small, dark, extraordinary eyes. And then she opened her wings. She flew to the edge of the window and back, once, twice. A small, private, gorgeous celebration of a life reclaimed. Marcus pressed a hand to his chest. The meeting he had missed that day. It hadn't mattered. The deal had been rescheduled. Life, as it tends to, had rearranged itself without catastrophe. But this small golden creature flying in the afternoon light, this was the thing he would remember on his last day. Not the contracts. Not the corner office. Not any of it. We rush through this world at speeds our souls were never designed for. Chasing futures while miracles happen in our gutters, in our storms. In the small and broken and trembling things we almost walk past. The universe doesn't ask you to save the world today. It just asks you to notice, to stop, to cup your hands around whatever is struggling and say, quietly, surely, hey, I've got you. Because sometimes the creature you rescue from the storm is not the bird. It is yourself.